Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam to all Vaishnavas assembled here today. Shri Radha Madhava Ashtasaki Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Panchatattva Bhagavan ki Jai. Rajapur Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maiya Sudarshan ki Jai. Thank you all, dear devotees, for nicely chanting the holy names of the Lord today morning. And on behalf of our leader, I thank you all for joining today for our next session, which is discussing a little bit on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter number 10 and verse 6. Before that, I will start with a short kirtan. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayo Gandharvika Giridhari Gaura Hari Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha Jayo Ananta Dev Lakshmi Narasimha Jayo Ananta Dev Jayo Prabhupada Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Shri Gandharika Giridhari Sriman Mahaprabhu ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Patita Pavana Guru Maharaj ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 10, Departure of Lord Krishna for Dwaraka, text number 6. Is there someone who can help me with the repetition? Devotees? Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. Reading from text 6. Nadayo Vyadaya Klesha
Nadayo Vyadaya Klesha
Daiva Bhutatma Hetavaha
Daiva Bhutatma Hetavaha
Ajata Shatro Abhavan
Ajata Shatra Vabhavan
Jantunam Rajnikar Hiset.
Jantunam Rajnikar Hichit.
Thank you, Mataji. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Because of the kings having no enemy, the living beings were not at any time disturbed by mental agonies, diseases, or excessive heat or cold. Purport. To be non-violent to human beings and to be a killer or enemy of the poor animals is Satan's philosophy. In this age, there is enmity towards poor animals, and therefore the poor creatures are always anxious. The reaction of the poor animals is being forced on human society, and therefore there is always a strain of cold or heat war between men, individually, collectively, or nationally. At the time of Maharaj Yudhishthira, there were no different nations, although there were different subordinate states. The whole world of united and the supreme head being a trained king like Yudhishthira kept all the inhabitants free from anxiety, diseases, and excessive heat and cold. They were not only economically well-to-do, but also physically fit and undisturbed by supernatural power, by enmity from other living beings, and by disturbance of bodily and mental agonies. There is a proverb in Bengali that a bad king spoils the kingdom and a bad housewife spoils the family. This truth is applicable here also, because the king was pious and obedient to the Lord and sages, because he was no one's enemy, and because he was a recognized agent of the Lord, and therefore protected by him. All the citizens under the king's protection were, so to speak, directly protected by the Lord and his authorized agents. Unless one is pious and recognized by the Lord, he cannot make others happy who are under his care. There is full cooperation between man and God and man and nature. And this conscious cooperation between man and God and man and nature, as exemplified by King Yudhishthira, can bring about happiness, peace, and prosperity in the world. The attitude of exploiting one another, the custom of the day, will only bring misery. Om Agnanatimandasya Gnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Datatri Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimati Jaya Pataka Swaminiti Namane Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Krupa Pradayine Gaura Kata Damadaya Nagara Ramtarine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschyata Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. So text number 6 we'll read once again. Nadeyo Vyadeya Klesha Daiva Bhutatma Hetavaha Ajata Shatro Abhavan Jantunam Ragni Karhiset. So, you have previously seen that all the senior Vaishnavas have explained the previous verses so far very nicely. So today I will try to share a few aspects from verse number 6 for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga and for my own purification. And I seek all prayers from all the Vaishnavas assembled here. Now, today we'll discuss, from this shloka, we'll discuss 3 aspects. So what are the 3 aspects? So, how the 3 kleshas, were not affecting the prajas under Yudhishthira Maharaj. And the point number 2 is qualities of an ideal king. That is, who is a Krishna conscious king, right? And the third point is qualities of Ajata Shatru, right? And from all these points, we can see wonderful examples of exalted personalities from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. So in this verse, it is given that how so far war is over, after the war, there is prosperity all around. When Yudhishthira Maharaj has Yudhishthira Maharaj has finally become the king after the Mahabharata epic, right? And on what basis he was ruling the kingdom? He was keeping the will of the Lord and the will of the Brahmanas in the center, and he was ruling the kingdom. And this is the qualification which is given in the pages of Bhagavatam. and also other literatures. Then how to actually rule. It is just not enough to be an ideal leader. It is very important how the ideal leader rules, right? So before we discuss this, we'll just see in the verse it is given, that is Nadayo Vyadayaha. That is, so there were neither anxiety nor disease, there was no kleshas. These were not troubling the prajas during Yudhishthira Maharaj's reign. What is that? Kleshas. That is, the klesha is Daiva, Bhuta, and Atma. That is Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika, and Adi Daivika. That is miseries. What is Adhyatmika? That is the miseries inflicted by our own body and mind, right? That is our mental problems and our bodily diseases, all those. So, and what is Adi Bhautika? Adi Bhautika is all the which is inflicted by other living entities. For example, mosquito bites and problems caused by other fellow human beings. All that falls under this category. And what is Adi Daivika? These are the natural disturbances which are caused by the demigods. So all these three kleshas were absent during the reign of Lord Ramachandra and Maharaj Yudhishthira. So people were not at all distressed. They were not frustrated. They didn't have any suicidal tendencies. There were no need for psychiatrists. The psychiatrists were jobless during Yudhishthira Maharaj's reign. And there was no need for session courts like high courts, Supreme Courts, what we have nowadays, right? There was no need for that. In fact, if they had any problem, the prajas, if at all so-called problem they had, they used to directly approach the king, right? This is the way Adi Bhautika was dwelt in Yudhishthira Maharaj's time. But nowadays, Adi Bhautika is practically everywhere, within our house, around our house, outside our house, in cities, countries, states, etc. So in our house also we can see, for example, when there is a father has a property and he has many sons, so we can understand, most of you must be knowing, who are sharing the property, they can go to the extent of, abusing each other, sometimes to the extent killing each other. This is how it is Adi Bhautika acts now in this present Kali Yuga, right? And this Adi Daivika. Adi Daivika is, of course, it's not in our control, beyond our control. You can see even the most prosperous and richest country, so-called the USA, what can they do? If there is a forest fire, cyclone, or any natural disturbance happens, they can't do anything. For example, tsunami is very common in Japan. Japanese are so, forward country, richest forward country. But when the tsunami happens, what happens? They can't do anything. You can see just people running here and there, trying to take shelter. So in this way, Adi Daivika is not at all in our control, beyond our control. And so many people die due to this. This is called mass reaction of karma, right? And who is responsible for this? And the Shastra says the government is responsible for this. But in the age of Yudhishthira Maharaj, jurisdiction of Yudhishthira Maharaj, we see even in our previous verse number 5, we see that how even the oceans, hills, forests, creepers, all of them are paying tax to the king. And this Adi Daiva, they are the ones, they were serving the king and the kingdom in Maharaj Yudhishthira's period. And so that is the control the kings used to have, right, in those days. Due to their, there were no anxieties, there were no diseases. But now, in this material age, we can see so many people queuing outside hospitals on a day-to-day basis for curing their diseases. And in this pretext, hospitals are making so much money. And we are all experienced during the year 2019, 20, 21, during the period of COVID, right? See how the people suffered and so many died due to COVID, and how hospitals were taking undue advantage of the situation. But during those times, there's absolutely no diseases because of the powerful reign of King Yudhishthira. And Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, why is it? Because 4 points are there. That is, the king was very pious and he was obedient to the Lord and sages. And third point, he had no enemy. Yudhishthira Maharaj is known for that. Ajata Shatru, one who has no enemy at all. He doesn't see anybody, any living entity as his enemy. That is a wonderful quality of Yudhishthira Maharaj. And the fourth point is, he was the recognized agent of the Lord. That is appointed by the Lord. He is called Naradeva. Therefore, all the citizens of the king were actually protected by the Lord himself. This is what is needed. So we'll take the first point. That is, the king. The king should be pious, meaning the king should not be a sinful person, meaning he should not be a sense gratifier. He should have control over his senses. That is why we call our Maharajas, we call Guru Maharaj and Goswami. Why? Because who is master of his own self. But nowadays, people are not mastering their own self. They want to master over kingdom. They want to master over the people, and they levy so much of taxes, rules. And we have also seen that nowadays, so many parks, hospitals, roads are named after them, right? That is because even after the death, they want their names to be, remembered. This is the condition. This is the situation of this present world. So next is obedient to the Lord, right? First of all, we should understand what the Lord is speaking. The biggest so-called leaders of today's world, they have not at all gone through the pages of Shastras. They don't know what the Lord wants, what to speak of obeying him, right? Thus, they have created a big catastrophe. Violence. Because of this, they have created violence to themselves and the people who are ruling too. Actually, the king is supposed to take the sinful reactions of the people under his rule. At least 1/3 is what I heard. 1/3 of it, the king, 1/3 of our sins, the king is supposed to take. Imagine if people of present world, if they know what it means, probably they will not take that post at all. But even in spite of that, but actually everybody is hungry for that post and position. They want that chair, chair, to occupy the chair, right? The next point is, obedient to the sages. This is more difficult one. The Lord, what he wants, he has put it in written format, right? But the sages are dynamic and they are there to assist the king. But if king is not able to appreciate their words, then he will not be able to protect his kingdom also, citizens also, right? Yeah. So we'll go to the fourth point today. That is, a king should be a Ajata Shatru, right? So under this Ajata Shatru, we'll discuss few qualities of a ideal Kshatriya leader. Who is the ideal Kshatriya leader and what should be his qualities? The first quality is he should be brave and he should be aggressive and he should be forgiving and compassionate. When it's a time for, war, right? He should not go and hide in the bunkers and ordering the poor soldiers to go fight and die on his behalf, right? The king should stand in the front and lead the whole army from the front. The Kshatriyas are compared to be the Bhuja in Varnashrama. Bhuja is one which protects the whole body, the arms, Bhuja. When there is an attack on our body, what happens? The first thing comes to us is the limbs, Bhuja, which helps us protect immediately our body. That is the responsibility of a Kshatriya. He should be a Bhuja. He is the one who has to take the pain, right? What is an ideal example we can give is Parikshit Maharaj, right? When Parikshit Maharaj, when he saw one person wearing black robes and he was acting like a king, and what he was trying to do? He was trying to kill and torture the cow and the bull, that is the Dharini and Dhara, right? So in this beginning of this purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying that To be non-violent to human beings and to be a killer or enemy of the poor animal is Satan's philosophy, Prabhupada is saying. But Parikshit Maharaj, on the contrary, went and chastised the personification of Kali and immediately subjugated him. This is the quality of an ideal leader. He takes fearless initiatives. He does not wait for things to move and wonder what to do next. He is having that capacity to take such brave decisions, right? Yet he is forgiving to someone who is surrendering. He is not a cruel person, committing atrocities on people who are helpless. No, that is not a quality of ideal leader. So there are 5 types of people who are helpless. So who are those 5 people who are helpless? The Brahmanas, the women, children, old people, and cows. So the leader protects them, and also anyone who takes his shelter, he forgives them, right? So the next quality we'll see of a Ajata Shatru is the leader should be independent and autocrat. Autocrat means who's got absolute power. So Srila Prabhupada mentions, right, democracy. He speaks about democracy. In modern Kali Yuga, what is democracy? It's a demon crazy, he says, in Kali Yuga. Why? Because in democracy, even if a leader wants to implement something good, he doesn't have any power, he doesn't have any capacity. There are the whole cabinet, the people, they just misbehave. They are like hooligans, troublemakers. The actions are also worse. They are the lawmakers. Because of these kind of people, it is practically impossible for a person who wants to implement certain good things, righteous things. So negativity is so much. So it is so difficult to make a change in this society in Kali Yuga. People come to power not for the welfare of the prajas. They come to power just for their own sense gratification. So as soon as they get the capacity as soon as they get that, power, they start acting whimsically. They start acting independently. Okay. But on the contrary, the leader should be obedient and submissive, right? So in this context, we have wonderful, personalities from the pages of Bhagavatam. Who are they? The first example is Prithu Maharaj, right? You all must have heard him a couple of times of Prithu Maharaj, wonderful devotee of Supreme Lord. So he was so submissive to Lord Brahma. So as soon as, cutting the story short, as soon as Lord Brahma told him to be satisfied with 99 Ashwamedha Yagna and no century, he just said, he just agreed, no word spoken, right? Why? Because he was not doing for his own sense gratification. He was doing everything for the welfare of his citizens, right? And later on also, Prithu Maharaj, once when all the Kumaras came there, later when Kumaras came to meet Prithu Maharaj, he humbly bowed down to them, washed their feet, completely made himself submissive in front of them and asked them questions relevant to spirituality. So being obedient and being submissive on administrative level as well as spiritual level is a wonderful quality of a Adatta Shatru. And next example is Dhruva Maharaj. So Dhruva Maharaj was practically killing every Yaksha. But as soon as his grandfather Manu came and told him not to do this, and you have to submit yourself to Kuvera, he immediately gave up his anger, he gave up the war, and next he gave up his ego, and he went and submitted himself in front of Kuvera. So, although a leader is allowed to be independent and autocrat, at the same time, this is applicable to one who is obedient as well as submissive, right? And their character should be impeccable, meaning the character should be of high standards, faultless. Okay? Now, what to speak of today? The biggest so-called leaders, they have all kinds of illicit affairs, and they claim that their personal life is different from their official life, and nobody can speak of the character, right? The next is the leader should not demand respect, but he has to command respect, right? A very typical example is Prajapati Daksha. You all know the story of Daksha. So Daksha was demanding respect. How? He chastised Lord Shiva for not standing when he entered the arena. Just because he did not play respect, he was so much agitated. But on the other hand, we can see again, King Prithumaraj, he was commanding respect like anything, right? And the fourth point is, the leader, a king should be responsible. At the same time, he has to be detached. Example is, Srila Prabhupada gives the example of Lord Ramachandra. When Lord Ramachandra was a king, and there was a Brahmana who came and told that his son is dead. And how come my son is dead when I am alive? There is something wrong in your kingdom. But nowadays, what happens? Nobody cares who dies, when, what, nobody cares. The Brahmana came and told the Ramachandra, there is a loophole in your kingdom. And that is the reason my son died even before me, he says. And the second example also is from the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. We can see, you all know the story. We can see how a Brahmana's son was dying practically. Sons were one after the other and dying. And he comes and asks the Yadus for help. But nobody did anything. Then Arjuna took up the stand and he said, he will come. I will ensure that the next child is protected. But Arjuna could not do anything. The child also died. Then Lord Krishna takes up the responsibility. And cutting down the story short, he goes, Krishna and Arjuna, they go all the way to Yamaloka, then to other places. Then finally they reach Vaikunta. There they meet Mahavishnu and all the children are there. And Mahavishnu says that he stole all the sons because he wants to take the darshan of the Supreme Lord Krishna. And finally they brought back all the sons. And here, why I said this story is, Arjuna is showing his responsibility here as a Kshatriya king. And again, in the 11th canto, it's given how Krishna himself personally takes responsibility, right? So when Krishna is away with Pandavas, when they were in exile, Krishna. So at this time, when Krishna was away from Dwarka, Salya took advantage of this and he attacked Dwarka. At that time, Pradyumna, Krishna's son, was there and he fought a violent war against Salva. And Salva was a little hurt, but his assistant, Dumyan, was fighting against Pradyumna and troubled him sufficiently, and he fainted. So this went on for nearly 27 days and 27 nights, this war. But when Krishna came, he immediately understood that Salva has troubled his kingdom, right, in his absence. And immediately he killed Salva. And after that, Krishna didn't enter Dwaraka still. He understood there is a problem in Mathura also. So what is the problem in Mathura? Dantavakra. He fights and kills Dantavakra, by hitting him in his chest and, and killing him. And after that, still he didn't go to Dwaraka. He went to Vrindavan because he has promised that he will stay for 2 months, fulfilling his promise. And then after that, only Krishna goes back to Dwaraka. So here we can see how the Lord himself, being the king, he is responsible for so many things, for both Dwaraka as well as Vrindavan, keeping of birds and everything, so responsible. So we can see in a glorious parampara, right, how our Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, our own Guru Maharaj and Guru Parampara, took the responsibility to spread the movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? So we also, being in the following, we also should take responsibility to follow in the footsteps to spread their movement. So preaching is the essence. And the king, although he is responsible, should also be detached. So I'll take a few more minutes and I'll conclude. Example is Parikshit Maharaj, Rishabhadev, Bharat Maharaj. There are untamed number of great personalities in the books of Bhagavad, pages of Bhagavatam. Prachetas. So Prachetas took instructions from Narad Muni and they went to forest. Again, Indradumna Maharaj became detached I know he was practicing spiritual life on top of the hill. And in this way, there are so many examples in the books of, in the pages of Bhagavatam. Okay. And lastly, the leader, king, should not be selfish. A typical example of selfish, we all know, Duryodhana, who was wanting everything for himself. Even his father, Dhritarashtra, he said, my son should become the king and I should become the king. Always plotting how to get rid of Pandavas and take over the entire kingdom. This is what they're doing, father and son. But on the other side, we can see a king should be selfless. Ideal example, Maharaj Yudhishthira, right? Who was actually so much bothered that the whole of 64 crore people died in the battle of Kurukshetra is because of me. He was lamenting. Just to enthrone me as a king. We lost so many, so many people died. And he was saying, I don't want this kingdom. He was lamenting so much. In spite of Vyasadeva coming and convincing him, Krishna personally came and counseled him, but he was not ready. He was very, very upset with it. Finally, he was, Bhishma, they had to convince him himself. He told him that it is your responsibility now. You have to take up this king as a king, because this whole thing is not made by you, Yudhishthira. This is all Krishna's plan. So we have to understand the will of the Lord. Go by the will of the Lord, and you should become the king now, is what Bhishma Deva advises Yudhishthira Maharaj. And finally, he takes it up. So, only by the above qualities, like being brave, forgiving, compassionate, independent, then command respect and selfless attitude. All this makes an ideal king like Yudhishthira Maharaj. Because of all this, we can see how opulence is there in the kingdom, where there is no enemy, where everyone is free from mental agonies, diseases, and no excessive heat or cold, as it says in the translation. So to conclude, we have discussed the three important points, that is, how the three kleshas were not affecting the prajas during Yudhishthira Maharaj's reign. The point number 2 is qualities of an ideal king, a Krishna conscious king. We have discussed 4 points in that. And third point is qualities of Ajatashatru. A few points were discussed, and we saw examples of great personalities from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you all very much. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Patita Pavan Guru Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you once again for giving me an opportunity to speak to a few points on this verse today. And I would like to thank Rajanath Prabhu for completely helping me in preparing this work. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. You have a nice plan. How the living entity is bound by the Triveda kleshas, but at the same time, the ruler is pious. And
Yes.
if he is surrendered to the Supreme Lord, and surely, the prajas also will take the benefit.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll keep it open for others if they have any responses, etc. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much, Mataji. It was very wonderful class. At one point, I felt like our leaders do not know that they have to take 1/3 of the sins of the people.
Yes.
They're hankering for all those things.
Yes, angry for post.
Yes,
Yes.
and also about the qualities of leader, which is contrasting also, that he should be aggressive, at the same time he should be obeyful to the saints. So
Yes.
that was contrary, but if it is there, then he is a good leader.
Yes. Nice, Mataji. Take away points.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
It was a very wonderful class, Mataji, especially the analogies that you gave and the examples that you stated from Srimad Bhagavatam. It was very wonderful, Mataji. And I also liked how you told democracy is becoming democracy. So it was very nice, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji, once again.
Thank you
So,
for giving
Bhagavad
this
Srimad
opportunity.
Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Now we'll go with the announcements. Over to Rajnath Prabhu to take the announcements.
Prabhu, sorry, Prabhu, I think he went to restroom.
Yes,
No,
he is
I'm
available,
there.
very much
I'm
available.
available.
Oh, he's there. Okay.
I'm
Sorry.
available.
I didn't see.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam to everyone. Thank you, Radha, for a class. Lot of points even I felt were a little contrary, but I think it is to be understood in the right spirit. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So, quickly come on to the videos. There is one very, very special announcement today. Today's anniversary of one of our senior leaders, Grace Varakrupa Das and Sanatani Mataji. Are you all there?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat pranam.
Hari Bol, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam. Kahan hai Prabhuji? Darshan karo.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for your wishes.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, you're there. Yes, Prabhuji. Mataji bhi hai? I think you're
Yes,
on.
Prabhu, we are here.
Okay.
Hare Krishna,
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Watch out. Busy in the kitchen. Okay. Any other announcement over to you, Prabhu? Any other announcements for the day?
Yes, today,
Very important
11:30.
announcement. Yes.
11:30, all the Matajis and other sevaks are supposed to gather in the temple. Haribol, Godil Hall.
Temple Narsimha Hall.
Narsimha Hall. Everybody gather and we have a lot of services. Then tomorrow
by 7:30.
morning. Tomorrow morning by 7:30 also we are supposed to gather for the services. A service is, Kalisha Seva. Around 110 kalishas or
125.
25.
25 kalishas are supposed to be kept ready.
Cleaned, washed.
Okay,
Everything.
so, and also today is Varaha Prabhu Sanatana Mataji's wedding anniversary. It looks like their score is 15 years, if I am right.
Is it correct, Prabhuji?
I think they are muted.
Yes, Prabhuji, you're right.
Okay,
Okay.
score is 15, very nice. And Prabhu is very expert in engaging all the family members in Krishna consciousness. With, all his 3 sons and Mataji himself very nicely participating and doing kirtan and also taking care of Vamsivat sector. And for the last so many years, they have been serving very nicely. So on this occasion, we all wish them a blissful Krishna conscious wedding anniversary. And years ahead also, they will continue to serve their lordships in our temple. So then at the end of the announcements, I will play the video for Sanatani Mataji and Varaha Prabhu.
Yes, I was about to say all the Matajis, please go to Sanatani Mataji's house after the Seva. Mataji is going to cook for all of us. Anyway, Prabhu, Dayana Sindhu Prabhu has been very kind enough. He's accepted to make some prasadam for all the Matajis, so you can come without any worry. Just cook for your family, come here, do the service nicely, and there will be definitely some prasadam kept by Prabhu. So
very nice.
That's very
Thank
nice.
you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank
So,
you. Hare
Hare
Yes,
Krishna, Prabhu.
really,
Pankaj
Mataji?
Sharma from our group has joined the morning session, Japa session for the first
Okay.
time, and
Okay.
requesting the prayer for us that he continually attend that in the morning.
I saw him enjoying on the day 2 of Brahmotsava, Mataji. He was dancing happily. Yes, sure, we will definitely pray for him. I wanted to see if anything else is there. Any Mataji's? Okay. No messages. So, which means everybody is fine. Yesterday, our Prabhuji was not fine. He requested, hope you're doing well, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes. So if nothing is there, can we, after the, we'll all chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and then we'll all hear the video. Okay. Yes, Pankaj Sharma is there.
Okay. Fine then.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thanks a lot, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone.
Are there any other announcements that we have forgotten? Well, everybody is supposed to do the Nirjal tomorrow.
Yes.
So till
And whoever reaches early should, whoever is the first to come can ask our His Grace Urukrama Prabhu. He's the one who will show us the coconuts. And then we wait for Parabhakti Mataji to show us where are the places which we need to clean. I think Radha will also be there. Right? So Radha also will be there. So anybody who reaches early, please reach out to these people. They will give us you can start the seva very nicely.
okay.
Okay, let's all chant together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gauranga, Gauranga, Gauranga. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Patit Pavan Gurudev ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari.